Say when. Well, here we are. Welcome to Capital Region Today. I'm so happy that you're joining us today, and we have a great lineup. Oh my goodness, so much stuff going on in our area. We're going to be starting out with the Schenectady Historical Society. They've got a lot of stuff coming up. We'll be talking about walking tours. We'll be talking about the Brower House. From there, we go to MOPCO, and they are opening up. And if you're ready for some good laughs and good energy, then that's the place to go. But we're going to find out what they're doing at their new, well, it's not their new location, but newly opening, I guess I would say. Then we're going to learn about the Holocaust Essay Contest. This is sponsored by B'nai B'rith, and so what they've done is they've had this contest. They have two winners. We're going to find out about those winners. We're going to find out what those essays were about and where they go from here. And after that, we're going to be talking to a very special group. We're going to be talking to the Capital Pride Singers. We're going to find out what they're doing. They have an audition coming up. They'll be doing a big Christmas concert. So we've got a lot coming up, and I'm just so glad you're joining me so that we can share this information with you, and you'll have places to go and things to do. But remember, wear a mask if you have to, and it's not a bad idea. I guess there's an upswing or an uptick in this COVID. So anyway, we're going to start right out with our Schenectady Historical Society. Michael, Diana, you've been on last week, I think.
Yeah, I feel like it was just last week. That
Yes,
we were
it was
sitting
almost,
here
yeah, it seems that
chatting
way.
about yoga.
Yeah.
And now I'm back.
And you're not talking about yoga today.
Well, I could talk about yoga, but there's other things we can talk about.
Yeah,
Yoga's still going on.
It is, and it's going to go
Everyone-
on through September.
Right on through the summer.
Yeah, so
come on out.
do you partake?
I did last time, and I feel more limber than ever before.
Did you?
And,
Okay.
I won't get into the details, but
And you
it's
did it
feeling good.
outside?
That time we did it in the barn because I was a little bit hot and sticky. So
Okay, it was,
it's an outdoors barn though, so you feel like you're communing with nature out there.
Absolutely, you've got a great barn. You have also a blacksmith that operates out of the barn, is it? Or
No, he's got his own
He's got his own
special
place.
shop. I don't even have a key to it. I can't even go in there unless he's there. So it's
okay,
very
all
top
right,
secret
good.
stuff.
So we won't find you forging anything there.
Not metal, maybe forging documents or forging my signature.
I don't think you'd be doing that.
Well.
But you got the walking tours. And first of all, I want to say that I did go on one of the walking tours with you. You are so knowledgeable.
Oh, thank you.
No, you really are. It was like I was hanging on every word that you were saying almost because you just had so much information. We did the Little Italy tour.
That was a classic one. I mean, that one you get food, so it's hard to complain, right? So,
Yeah.
well,
And we get food too.
Yeah. Well, that one's not on the docket quite yet. Maybe next year we can reapproach that. But we have our tours of the Stockade, the historic district, the streets from 1661. Not very often you can find streets that are more than 350
And
years old.
are they going to bring up? Maybe they bring up the map that what the stockade is. If you can do that, Jan. Yeah, there it is. So well, there it is
Okay,
now.
there it is.
So tell me what really says this is the stockade?
Well, it's kind of an ambiguous concept. Basically, the stockade refers to the original settlement
That was
would have
it
been
had a fence around it. It actually had a
enclosed.
stockade, right?
Yes, enclosed by a stockade. It's a matter of debate as to whether the fence went all the way around or just covered up the kind of like a curtain wall between the river and the streams. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, there was this stockade that historically was moved as the city grew. Over the colonial period, they constantly rebuilt the stockade such that by the end, the last stockade was considerably further out than the original one from the 1680s when they first built it. So that you have this definition kind of expand a little bit, but basically what we're talking about is the area from Washington Avenue over to really Erie Boulevard. It's kind of a good place to cut it off. And
I
then
always
from
consider
Front
the Erie
Street-
Boulevard being the edge of it,
Well, that's where they have those nice little kind
Yeah,
of gate posts.
yeah.
So it makes
They were
sense.
teasing us a little
yeah,
bit.
there. And then you got on the north side, you've got Front Street, and then on the south side, State Street. And that's a pretty good, rough and ready definition of what the stockade is. But that only really tells you the basics. To know everything about the stockade, well, you got to come take a look at it for yourself.
Take a tour. Now, one of the things you notice that when you walk through the stockade is that you have houses with little plaques on that says 1742 or 1813 or I'm just
Absolutely.
making up numbers, obviously.
Yeah.
But how can I just put up any sign I want?
Technically, you can. In the stockade itself, there is a process that you want to go through. because there is a stockade association here. Again, being a historic district, there are certain rules and restrictions on what you can and can't do on the front of your house. And putting those plaques is something you have to get an approval
In other
for.
words, there has to be a search that this house really was built in 16 something or other.
There has to be at least some kind of plausible evidence, and typically we at the Historical Society are very much involved in that process. Full disclosure, I can't guarantee that every plaque that's been put up in the last 100 years is
Accurate?
correct,
Accurate?
is factually correct, and that's just kind of the nature of scholarship. History is not a set of facts that you have to go and learn. It is a conversation with the past, and we as a community continue this conversation, we find out more things, we elucidate more, and we can update existing knowledge.
Now, you have the Brower House, and one of the
Yeah.
things I'm mentioning is because our next guest will be from the MOPCO, the Mop and Bucket Company, and they're going to be performing at the Brower House. Is the Brower House a historical building?
It is a historical building, and speaking of plaques, if you go to the Brower House, you'll see on the front, it claims that it is the oldest house in Schenectady.
I thought the Yates House was, no?
Well, that's the thing. It's
Oh,
probably
here
not.
we go.
It's a debate. It's a discussion. It's a debate. The Brower House is probably not the oldest house in Schenectady, even though it has a nice, pretty plaque that says as much. I haven't seen the actual paperwork for the dendrochronology of the Yates House. I'm kind of giving them a little bit of credit on that. And if you guys want to forward it to me, that'd be great. But I understand that one is from 1725. We do have confirmation that the Brower House, the original structure, was built in 1733. There is wood in the frame of that house. The tree was cut down in 1733, and we can prove that with certain scientific specificity. It's almost a settled fact at that
Yeah.
point. So it is a historic structure. It's a beautiful structure, and it's a really fun place to kind of experiment with new programs and new ideas. We have artists there, and we're really excited for this program.
So
with
it's a
the MOPCO.
fluid, in the sense that, no, it's not in the water, I don't mean that, but
No,
it's
no,
fluid
hopefully.
in how you use the house.
Absolutely. It's a recent acquisition for us, and historical societies, they kind of tend to move slow with these properties. We don't have it open on a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday basis like perhaps the Mabee Farm might be. It's not a full-time historic site, but it does give us certain opportunities that we can't do anywhere else. It's just a beautiful location.
Well, I have to commend the Historical Society because now they have the Brower House, they have the museum, which is right next to the YWCA. You also have the Education Center in Rotterdam Junction, along with the Mabee Farm.
Yep.
And the Mabee Farm is the oldest farm, is it?
That is the oldest house.
We can say that now.
There we go. It's not a competition, but we did win. Anywhere in the Mohawk Valley, the Mabee Farm dates to 1705, and that's another thing that we can prove with certain, well, I won't get into it today, but anywhere in the whole Mohawk Valley, that's the oldest surviving structure. There are homes older in the state of New York, but they're few and far between. Really, I can only think of a handful off the top of my head. So it's a really special place. It's a beautifully preserved place, and we're just proud to be part
And
of
I
that.
love the tours. I know we're talking about the walking tours, but also you do tours at the Mabee Farm, because I went to one of those, and whoever gave it was so knowledgeable in that time period.
Oh, yeah.
Telling us about the beds and the thing, all the things, and that this was the visitors area, and it was so fascinating. I recommend that anybody who has not been on that tour take the time to do that, because it's part of our history.
Oh, absolutely. It's stepping back into a completely foreign world, and it's just right in your own backyard.
Yeah, and there's no Wi-Fi, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, at the education center there is. In the
Oh,
house,
yeah.
not so much.
Not
It's
so
caused us problems on a number of occasions.
One of the things I think that was really a very important thing that happened was the mantle of the
Yeah.
Mabee Farm. That the replica, was it the replica or the actual mantle? What went to the big museums?
So in the attic of that structure, given to us in 1993, we found the woodwork for the original. It's called a Dutch jamless fireplace. It's a particular type of fireplace which persisted in, again, this was an old Dutch colony. At a certain point in 1664, it became an English colony, but the Dutch people are still here, still doing their Dutch stuff. So it's very rare to find one of these, like, kind of still existing.
But they knew what it was when you saw it?
Absolutely. It's kind of hard to mistake.
Okay.
And it's a certain kind of structure. And when we got the woodwork, we immediately set about rebuilding a replica of that.
Oh, okay.
And so we had the exact patterns, we had the exact measurements. We had
Everything was the same,
that
yeah.
we needed. And I do believe that when the Metropolitan Museum down in New York City, when they were looking for a reference point for their mock-up of a colonial Dutch home, they certainly came to us and checked out what we had, because we have, again, the original woodwork and an exact replica.
And what kind of wood did they use at that point? I mean, I'm just wondering, what was prevalent that they would build with here?
The overwhelming majority of what you're going to see in structures, and I assume for kind of smaller details as well, white pine.
White
I mean, the
pine.
white pines back then, they grew thick, they grew tall. It's completely different than anything you would see in a forest in Schenectady County today. This
Okay.
is old growth forest, trees, 18 feet in circumference.
Oh, yeah. Because
It's-
it was pristine.
Oh, absolutely, or almost pristine. It's, there had been people living here for centuries. I mean, millennia even before any Europeans showed up. That
But
being
not,
said,
wait, they would have to be Native Americans.
well, yeah, Native
So they
Americans.
weren't building structures.
Well, they were, just not. They,
You mean like longhouses?
Yeah, and you don't need to cut down necessarily an old growth white pine to build a longhouse. Although I shouldn't say that because I've never built a longhouse. So
Yeah, I haven't either.
Maybe just back up on
Yeah.
it. Nevertheless, the rate at which they use the land is perhaps a little bit more gentle than the European settlement that would come afterwards, where you have
And we
this
just
kind of-
start cutting down and stuff. Yeah.
just clear cutting, just
Yeah,
clear
clear
cutting.
cutting.
You don't see really clear cutting in Native American societies in the northeastern part of what is today the United States.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of.
Interesting.
lifestyle.
So this is the kind of stuff you learn if you
Yeah.
go there. Now, what will they learn on the tour of the stockade? Will you just say there's a house there and there and there, or what are you gonna do?
Well, we really try to bring the stories to life because, again, it's not just about the building. Some tour guides at some places like to do an architectural tour. That's not my style. I like to talk about the people who have made Schenectady their home, the events through which they had to persevere, and kind of how this leads us to where we are today. I'm not the type to tell you a story about the past if it doesn't have some kind of relevance to the present.
In other words, bring
or
it
to
all
the
together,
future.
yeah.
And we have a variety of different themes that we kind of study the stockade in. And each week we're going to have a different theme, from the colonial past right on through to kind of the golden age of Schenectady, which some people would allege would be kind of the turn of the 20th century.
Okay, so that brings us to when are these tours?
When are these tours? Well, I don't want to go rattling off a whole bunch of dates and risk getting them wrong. So I'm going to advise all you folks out there to check out our website, check out our Facebook. We have all the dates right there. We're going right on through the summer into September, one a week.
One a week, are they
one a
all
week.
gonna be the same, or will they be different?
No, each one will have, each week will
A
have
different focus,
theme.
okay.
So you'll get a whole different variety. If a certain time period is not your cup of tea, then just check back with us next week and we should have something for you.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Well, I want to applaud you to do such great tours. I think, we live in an area, we need to know about our area and our past, and
Oh,
I think you're
absolutely.
bringing it to us. Mike, I really want to thank you so much for being here
Thank you
and
for having
doing
me.
such a great job, and I love your tours because you just seem to know all that. Look, we didn't even know what we were going to discuss today, and look how you just
I know, we were just
ripped that
improv.
right off there.
There you go.
We were improving.
We were improving. What a transition.
Oh, what a transition that is. Okay, thanks a lot, Mike. And I'm going to go over to this other Michael. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Good,
Good
Ann.
to see you. Michael
Great to
Burns
see
is
you.
with us from MOPCO, the Mop and Bucket Company. You're an improv company, and we were just improving. Did you notice that?
I saw that.
You were sitting here the whole time. You didn't say a
Absolutely.
word. You didn't even jump in.
Well,
I know.
I didn't want to mess up anything.
I know. So tell me a little bit about you're going to do. Well, first of all, you're going to be joining with the Historical Society to do something at the Brower House. What are you doing there?
Well, we're just going to do an improv set in this beautiful backyard. One of the things that Michael didn't have time to mention is that the interior of the building is amazing. The backyard is incredible.
Is it a garden or what? I
well,
haven't been there,
It's
so
sort of
you.
in two parts. We'll be
Okay.
in the front, which is more yard-like, although the flowers are beautiful there. But then you go back to this hidden, shaded garden with all different kinds of hostas and bleeding hearts and this and that. It's just absolutely, it's superb. It really is. You'd never know it was there.
I
right?
know. Well, what a treasure that is.
Yeah, one of those many hidden gems around this area. So I'm
So
excited.
you're going to be performing outside.
Outside, 6 o'clock show.
Now I know when I usually go to your shows, you guys are like, just give us something and we'll work with it, kind of.
Yeah.
Are you going to do that?
Absolutely.
If I throw you
Well, now here's the thing with this show. What we're going to be given, we don't know any of the specifics.
Oh, you don't know.
But it will be something historical that
Okay.
Michael will cook up for us.
So
And-
could it be a mop and a bucket?
Perhaps a historical mop and bucket, I don't know. But we'll bounce off of whatever he does, and I can promise that it will be wildly inaccurate in terms of historical facts.
I'm
but that's
sure
okay.
it will be very
You know,
inaccurate.
I played a brain surgeon recently in a scene, and I'm pretty sure I didn't have a lot of the details quite right.
Yeah,
there.
I don't know if I'd want you working on
No,
me.
not in
No,
real
no,
life.
no, that would be
No.
painful.
No.
So you have classes. Suppose I decide that I love to do improv just
Yeah.
for fun, but I've never taken a class.
Uh-huh.
I do improv every single week.
Well, you know the first thing, you do it every week. Actually, you do it every day, and so does
Yeah, I know.
everyone
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
And our classes are really designed to show people, the introductory classes especially, what are the basic tenets that we follow to try to succeed often as an improviser. And they're not only good on stage, they're good in life, right? So to really listen carefully to what your partner's saying and then build with it, which of course is what you do all the time.
All the time, yeah.
Um,
Because I don't use any notes. I'm just kind of up here and I'm listening
Here,
to you.
That's right, yeah.
And I'm listening to my guests.
Sure, and there's a lot of games and so forth. I think one of the things that people get, they get afraid that they're going to walk in and we're going to make them look silly, or say, here, wear this duck on your head or something. It's not what we do at all. It's really
No, you're a gentle group. I have to
Yeah.
say this, you're a very gentle group.
Yes.
And you
yes.
have fun, and you laugh at each other, you laugh at yourself, you just have a good time. But what you just said is kind of interesting. When the pandemic started back in March of 2020, I started putting a pun on Facebook every single day, and I still do it to this day.
That's
So
great.
I've probably got over 400 different puns have been
Yeah.
up there. The thing that I notice is that the people that follow me on this are improvisational because they now pun off the pun.
Right.
And I think, in a way, you remind me that that's really what improvisation
That's
is.
what it is. That's right. Take the offer that's on the table, so to speak, and build with that.
Yeah.
So the other thing people say is, I don't know how you think all that stuff up. We don't. We just listen and respond and build with what we get
Right.
from our
Play
partner.
on words or
Sure.
just kind of
Yeah.
go off in another tangent if you have to.
Yeah. So a
And
lot of it's,
sometimes I notice they will direct it because they've got another great line they want to use and they
Uh-huh.
will direct it so that they can use that
That's
line.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So really, it's about having fun. I think is the one thing that I can say is absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything that we do is about that.
Well, the one thing I really enjoy that you do is your theater stuff, where you get your producers. No, what do you get the backers, and then you get the topic, and
Right.
then you get song titles.
Yep.
And so tell us about that.
Well, that's a
because
show called,
That's so much fun.
Yeah, it's a show called Spontaneous Broadway, and basically the audience picks their favorite, and we, Act Two in particular, is a full-length, 45-minute.
Yeah.
What's called a book musical. It has the story.
You go off to the side as soon as you get all your information from the audience. It could be anything, right?
Sure.
You have no
Yeah.
no choice
Yeah.
there. You go off, and within like 15 minutes, you've got a musical together.
That's right. And we don't, see, here's the thing, with everything we do, people think, well, you planned that during that 15.
No.
No, you can't, right? If you tried, it would be a mess.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that.
Right, so we're doing a lot of, that's an example of long form, so-called improv. Highly technical, it's short form is short, long form is long. Now that we have that.
Well, I
covered.
think I could figure that
Yeah.
one out. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'm a little slow, but I think I got
Yeah.
that one.
So we've been working a lot with story, with narrative that way, and essentially doing plays that are improvised. And it's huge fun. And it just requires listening, really.
Do you ever hit a wall?
Oh, all the time.
I mean, where
Sure.
you just you can't grab what it is.
Here's the beautiful thing about improv also. One of the first tenets is make your partner look good.
Oh yeah.
So I know that I'm not alone out there. And if I do hit a wall, which happens all the time, I can rely on you, right? You're gonna make me look good. You're going to give me something, and then we're sort of back on track. I'm not solely responsible for a good outcome every single second. I'm just part of a team.
And that's what I see when I go to your productions. It's sort of like, this is like fluid. It reminds me of Mercury. You just kind of keep moving around, you know, and you can't never grab it, but it's still there.
That's
What got you started, Michael, in this?
Well, you know, I took it's very rare. I took a theater games class when I was in high school
In high school?
1974.
Wow.
And it was really rare then. Then I studied acting in a professional training program. Lucky enough.
So
to
you
get-
really weren't a brain surgeon and then
No,
transitioned?
No,
I just want to
I've never
make that clear.
actually performed surgery on any person. No, but all along, improv was part of my training, and I just fell in love with it. So I did scripted theater. I directed plays and acted and so forth.
Yeah.
But improv was always
Always fun. No, I love improvisation.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the next thing, because Kat does, she does training and stuff for corporations.
yes.
I want to just kind of go in that direction. How does improv and corporate training and, building, team building and that, how does that all come together? And are you involved with that at all, or is that?
I am to an extent, although essentially our sort of job descriptions, I'm more about the local and the theater. And
Yeah.
Kat, here's the thing, Kat Coppett, my spouse and business partner, runs this consultancy called Coppett.
And I just want to mention that because it's
Yeah,
so
thank you.
interesting.
She applies improv tenets and story techniques and so forth to training business people in presentation. That one's obvious, to be a better presenter.
Exactly.
But also, as you said, team building, use of story is so widespread in problem solving, in predicting things that might be happening, running sort of thoughts about simulations in 100 areas. So when the pandemic lockdown hit, her business thrived. Absolutely.
Yeah, because
thrived.
we were on Zoom and we were doing all this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So recently, in one day, she provided a training in California, one in New York, one in
Isn't
London,
that nice? You
and
didn't have
one
to.
in
You
Asia.
shouldn't have to get on a plane.
No, right? So four hugely disparate parts of the world in one day. So that's been a huge change.
Yeah.
It also is, frankly, the reason that the theater is reopening, because
Because you had some
we had this other thing
sustainable.
we did.
You were sustainable.
Right, and sadly, many theaters went under during this time, especially improv theaters.
Yeah.
Major cities, huge real estate costs, and no income. That's a
Well,
bad
I know
thing.
we're sitting here in Proctor's, and actually we're in the area where the restaurant or the cafe is.
Yeah.
That is not open, by the way.
Right.
So here we are because we had to move here. And I was surprised with Proctor's how much it costs per day to keep this building going.
Huge, right?
Huge.
I don't know the numbers, but I don't
No,
want
it's
to.
huge. Just to
Yeah.
keep this building going, because you have to heat it in the winter and you have to cool it in the summer. And they've done everything it can to keep it going, and they've gotten a grant recently, thank goodness. But the point is that the smaller theaters don't have perhaps what it takes to do that.
I had, I scurried around, got a PPP, a couple of PPP
Yeah, of
loans,
course.
And I had, let's say, lengthy dialogue with the insurance company about lost revenue for performances. which
Exactly.
ended up being covered, and there was that, but nothing like the revenue that we had been sort of relying on.
Oh, yeah.
So-
And everybody was kind of planning on this, for,
Oh, yeah.
and we're planning next year and the following year, and then all of a sudden, bam, everything
That's it.
changed on
That's right.
us.
That's right.
So what are you going to do on your opening? I think it's the 23rd, 24th. What are you going to
23rd
do?
and 4th. We're just calling it, the one weekend is reopening. Right now, we're running something called an Armando, which is hard to explain but fun to watch.
It sounds like a person's name.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Armando Diaz is an improviser who started the Magnet Theater in New York City. And he invented this format where somebody tells a story, and then the improvisers sort of deconstruct this story. They don't really act it out. They just sort of bounce off of it again, that term. And it's huge fun. It goes in 100 different directions.
And you never know because you've got a different audience each time, and you've got
That's
a
right.
different group. And
Yeah.
do you have a fixed group that you work with, or do you have students that you bring in and out?
Both things are true.
Okay.
We have an ensemble of about...
Because you have classes, I know
Right,
that.
sure.
Yeah.
There's about 10 people in the Mop and Bucket Company, which is the original performance troupe. That's why
Yeah.
it's called the Mopco
Yeah.
Improv Theater. And then we also have these other groups coming up because people have studied with us. And once you do this stuff, you want to do it, right?
It's so much
there's-
fun to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's huge fun. So actually, many a Friday night coming up, we're going to be having some other groups performing. I'm really committed to sort of broadening the community of improvisers in the area. So I'm saying, yeah, come to a show, come to a show. And there are several groups that work at the theater rehearsing. They're coming back now. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting, yeah.
Right? I think Zoom has been a godsend, but
It
if
has.
I never saw another Brady Bunch grid,
Oh, yeah, I know.
would be okay. I
Yeah.
could live with that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Now, and I will say one thing, you have a very lovely theater, it's the old firehouse
Yeah.
that you've done. Do you rent that out? Because sometimes people ask about
Yes.
spaces in the area.
Yes, and we've newly, we've gone with, we used to have sort of classic black curtains, but we've been doing so much video, again, because of this time period. We've gone with a whole different
The
look
green screen?
in
No.
terms of, well, we do some of that. But we've gone with a sort of grayscale set that makes video a lot more, a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That huge color difference between
Exactly,
black and white.
exactly.
So, yeah, I'm delighted to say we're once again available for special events, for parties, for all sorts of things.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
And you'll even improv along the way.
we will.
Absolutely.
All the time, just
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
You're my role model.
Ditto, ditto for you. But listen, please say hi to your wife,
I
lovely
shall.
wife.
I shall.
And I do applaud you for getting back on the stage and getting us all laughing
It's the
again.
only thing I know how to do, Ann.
I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so good to see you, Michael. We're going to go right to our next guest, and I have Robert Michaels with us. And we're going to be talking about it's kind of a topic that we really need to address, number one, and make young people understand what happened in the past.
Well, the Holocaust of
Exactly.
World War II. Unfortunately, it's a phenomenon that was bigger than everything that has happened since, but it is the same thing that is happening
Right.
now.
I know.
And so
I mean,
what we're teaching the kids in their own research on the Holocaust, which was a historical event, is that we are hopefully educating them to be responsible people today and to do what they can as citizens and as voters and as community leaders to oppose that kind of phenomenon.
step up and know. And the thing is, you've got young people, I mean, you and I both know what happened during the Holocaust. I mean, it was something that perhaps we grew up with, we understood what was going on. So it's fresh in our memory. But suppose you take a 12-year-old, and because we're talking about middle school, we're talking about high school that enter this essay contest. So you tell them, we'd like to have you present something, an essay that we can judge. Okay. Where do they start?
I would guess that they start with our website. Now, they start with their teachers, actually, because each of the public schools is required to teach a little about the Holocaust, but not a lot. We hope that the teachers will participate in our contest.
And they have in the past.
They have, and we have kids who are
And-
doing more. They're doing their own research, extracurricular research on the Holocaust, and on a particular topic. Every year we have a different one, and that's what they do research on. They look at our website, they have some resources on the website.
So they're guided. In a way, they're guided by their teachers, right?
They are guided, and that is a very important component, because you know that there are many Holocaust deniers.
Oh,
out
I
there.
mean, can you believe that?
Nasty kinds of anti-factual.
Yeah, yeah. And we see that more and more, and I don't know where it came from, but it's this QAnon and all that. It's
Oh,
just,
yeah,
yeah.
it's something that is like an alternative reality for
It's
these
an
people.
I love that. It's an alternative reality.
Yeah, and so we hopefully have credible information that are resources on our website, and the guidance of teachers is critical, that these kids are encouraged to come to our contest because we are a trusted entity. and they do research, and as you'll probably show later on, we have some winners.
Yeah,
this
why don't
year.
we talk about them right now? And
Yeah,
I
okay.
think we have two photos that Jan will bring up.
Yeah.
And one is from middle school, and that's, I believe Jacob is from middle
Lamb,
school.
yeah.
Yeah, Lamb. There they are, there's their photographs. So
Okay.
tell me about those two beautiful people.
Well, I don't do research on our particular winners, and I don't
Well,
know
one
anything
is
about
from
them
the
except
Christian
that they're
school.
smart.
Yeah, one is from a Christian
Bowdenville
school.
Christian school,
Yeah.
and the other is Niskayuna High
Niskayuna
School.
High School, right.
And these kids have read their essays at a Zoom award ceremony. They did a great job. I asked for a couple of photographs because the Jewish World newspaper
Yeah.
was interested in publishing.
And they were
their
both
photos.
first winners, but one in different classes.
One high school first prize, one middle school first prize. We have 3 prizes at each level. So
Yeah, I
six-
saw that,
six
first, second, and
prizes
third, yeah.
Total. And we give away.
And they come from all over the schools.
Yeah, any
Yeah.
of the 12 contiguous counties with Schenectady County and Albany County.
And how many essays do you get that somebody has to sift through?
Well, we don't broadcast the numbers, except I will tell
A
you
lot.
that we get a good number of them. We have gotten less in the last couple of years because of the pandemic.
Okay.
And so what that has done is increased your chances of winning.
Oh,
If
okay,
any
that's a good way to
listener
look
out there-
at it. Look at the odds. That's
If
great.
you are listening, you should know that we've had somewhat fewer schools.
And you
somewhat
give a
fewer
nice
essays.
prize.
We have given away, I think each year, something like $1,300.
Yeah.
Each year, and we get funding from the Jewish Federation.
Right.
And the Sternlicht Memorial Holocaust Fund, and we get some private donations as well. We get donations from the Congregation Gates of Heaven Brotherhood, and we get donations from the B'nai B'rith in Albany. And so we have a good number of sources. We have a good number of people who believe in us. And the consequence of our support over decades has been not high school kids, not middle school kids. We have thousands by now of community leaders. These kids have become adults.
Yeah.
They've become parents. They've become teachers. They've become our community leaders as politicians and office holders. These people are influenced, hopefully in a positive way, by our essay contest. This is the legacy that we bring each year, and that's why people fund us. It's you're getting a picture of a couple of kids now, wonderful kids, but those kids, believe it or not, are going to grow up, and they're going to assume leadership.
And they're going to know what happened and repeat. The thing is that if we don't know about, I mean, it's what happened recently, and I don't want to, I don't want to get into details, but what happened recently has been alarming to me, that we have seen this upsurge of deniers of the Holocaust. We've seen, and people seem to be more vocal about it. I don't understand when we have photographs, we have, I mean, the people that went in there and saw what was going on towards the end of the war, well, sort of the end of the war. I mean, it was alarming, and thank goodness they took photographs, because you can't deny those.
Yes, and they still exist as historic monuments.
Yeah.
Auschwitz can still be visited.
Yeah.
Not by me. I will not. It's just too shocking for me. My
Yeah,
family
I
history,
don't
but-
know that, I mean, I have a friend who lost a number of family members, and
so did I.
yeah, and so it's hard to relive that, I did see on Facebook, I think it was yesterday, a statue that apparently was at Dachau, that it was, and I don't know, maybe you know what this is, but they said the alarming thing about this prisoner is that he has his hands in his pockets, which apparently they weren't supposed to do. He's hatless, and he has his eyes up instead of down, and it was called the person that is defiant. And I thought, what an interesting statue to put up to show that there was a defiance somewhere, but it was probably very rare.
Well, we've seen a lot of contemporary works of art, and some of them are large works of art. For example, in Germany itself, there are acres of repeated kind of boxes, concrete boxes that are reminiscent of what happened, and it was a way that Germany had for taking responsibility.
They took responsibility, yeah.
And we have had kids in this country memorializing 6 million killed in the Holocaust with paper clips, and kind of showing how many paper clips that is.
Yeah, I
because
know.
beyond
Can't even
understanding,
imagine. Those numbers are just so big.
and it's the hatred, it's the ignorance, it's the contagion of those expressions of hate to other people, and I've been very upset to see that in our country. And that was-
Absolutely. I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. It's very disturbing. Now, I don't know, are you at all, and this is coming off of just wild, I guess, off my brain here. We were talking about doing something with the Holocaust Memorial on New Route 7. Do you know anything about that, or if it's moving forward, or?
Well, I do think it is moving forward. I don't know specifically.
It's a Catholic cemetery, then they offered land, I believe.
Yeah, that was donated land, and I believe that the project has gone through an environmental review, and I believe it still needs some local approvals.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with that.
Yeah, I
particular
thought
project.
maybe you had heard more about it. I haven't heard recently, so I thought perhaps you might update me on it a little bit, yeah.
No, we have many expressions of remembrance, and the biggest one that's very famous is the Holocaust Museum in Washington.
Yeah,
DC.
I've been there. That's, that is.
A very
that is-
powerful
Yeah, it's very
experience to
powerful.
be
I've been
there.
through that.
And so this is not rare, and there is also a.
Yeah, doesn't the New York State Museum has a small one, or they did at one time, I think.
Well, there are several in New York State. I don't know what is
The
in
State
New York
Museum
State.
has one. They do. I think they have a small one.
It's possible.
What
I'm
what
not
Anne
familiar.
Frank's room would have been like, or something. I think they have. So it's not very big, but
The size isn't the key, it's the visitation and the recognition it gets. There is an oral history program as well out in California that Steven Spielberg leads.
Okay.
Which interviews the dying breed of Holocaust survivors.
yeah, I don't know there aren't very many left, are there? I think there's a few, but not many.
Not too many, and as these become recorded, they become part of history,
Mm-hmm.
they become part of the record, they become Exhibit A for many educational
Mm-hmm.
venues, and it's a very important project.
Yeah, yeah, and I know that I don't even know if there's any more of the, when they were doing the Nazi hunters, of course, and they were really pulling some, but many of them are probably so old now that it's, we're probably not finding any more, but who knows, we need to hold people's feet to the fire. If they've done something wrong, they need to be addressed, so.
Well, I agree with you, Ann, but I will say that my own viewpoint is moving forward in history, not backward.
Yeah.
History is.
Oh, you still have to remember what happened, or else
No.
you're bound to repeat it.
That is my feeling, that history provides examples that can teach us about how we should conduct ourselves in
Now.
the future.
Yeah.
And I have sympathy for those who want to hold to the fire, the feet to the fire, or
Yeah,
whatever you put it.
yeah.
But my real concern is going forward to prevent these kinds of atrocities from happening again.
Yeah, and we see them happening not just with the Jewish, but also the people in China, the Uyghurs. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
so this is not. I mean, this continues, and there's doesn't seem any way to stem that tide of indifferent. Whether you're talking about whether it's racial or religious or whatever.
It may not be very original to say this, but there's the concept of thinking globally and acting locally, and we are acting in
Locally.
12 county area,
Yeah.
which I would consider local relative to the
Absolutely.
problem.
What you're doing is wonderful, and someday I hope that when you come on next year, you'll bring one of your students with you to read an essay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, I could do that, and it is something to consider.
Yes.
All you have to do is invite me.
Oh, I'm going to invite you every year because I think what you do is wonderful, Robert. It's just really wonderful. Dr. Robert Michaels, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Likewise, Ann, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
good. And we're going to slip right over to our next guest. Hi, Valerie. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, you're the president of the Capital Pride Singers? I mean, I didn't know, because there's another organization that I saw initialed, the ACP, and I wasn't sure what that was. So we brought our other guests in here. Thank you for coming, Derek. Yes, they're all here. And, yeah, I'm glad to see you here too, Keith. So we're going to be talking about what you're doing to, giving us a joyous feel.
Well, we were quite busy, even though the pandemic was
Oh,
going
yeah.
on. We were quite busy learning Zoom.
That's a general theme here, right? Everybody's learning Zoom.
We were learning Zoom.
First of all, I said, what is Zoom? Now it's like it's part of your vocabulary in your life, right?
Yeah, we were quite busy. We did a fall concert that was the Celtic concert that we did with another group.
You did that in 2020, a fall
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
Get out.
It was a virtual concert.
Oh, okay. So this was all the little boxes.
Well,
No, actually, Triskaeli, which is the group we partnered with.
Yes, I know they're a wonderful group.
And
I
we're
had
gonna
them on.
partner with them again in this fall. They actually did their own 4 sets, and then we put 4 different
Oh, I see what you
together,
did,
and
yeah.
we spliced everything
I
together,
see.
so it's one long virtual concert.
Yeah, they're a very good group. They were on my show, and they are just wonderful women that are,
Oh, we
yeah.
enjoy working with them.
Yeah, they're
terrific.
wonderful people
Good
to
person.
It's a
work with.
great chance for a collaboration to have their instrumentation and their vocals, our vocals. Even though it was virtual, it was not quite the same, so we're really looking forward to,
You know what? Y'all had to get creative,
yes.
Yeah.
right? Isn't that the truth?
yeah.
So now you're going to have auditions, and this is for anyone that wants to join your group and be part of a new beginning of getting this pandemic behind us.
for us to get back together again
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sing in the same space again. We really don't do an audition. We ask you to sing for our conductor, musical director Olga Martinez, so she knows whether an alto or soprano or tenor or bass. So
Okay.
you don't have to sing
That's
in
a
front of
start.
the
That's a
entire
start.
group. Yeah, you don't have to sing in front of the entire group.
Yeah.
But if you love music,
Do you have to be a good singer? I mean, or do you just if you like to sing in the shower, would you want to join?
we would love to have you if you sang in the shower.
Okay.
Olga's a very good instructor. You don't have to know how to read music. We can teach you along the way all of the things that you'll need to know. And
So
we-
you're doing a Christmas concert. So what kind of music do you do at a Christmas? I don't know. How do you all get in here? I don't want to eliminate anybody here. I want
No,
to
it's
bring
all-
you all in. So,
it-
but
it's
I don't
all
know
good.
where you fit here. So.
We had planned in last fall to do the Celtic Christmas concert, and then we kind of acquiesced and said, well, we'll do a virtual concert, but we really wanted to perform with Triskaeli live, so we're back on
You're
that
focusing
mission.
on that.
We're focused on that. We've got all our music that is remnant of the Celtic world. We broadened our definition of the Celtic world.
Sure,
so-
sure.
And so we have got our music chosen. We've gotten our rehearsal tracks laid down. So if you're a new singer, you have all this, you have
You have the
music,
materials.
You have the website, you have materials, and you have all the support to come and learn how to sing some wonderful Celtic-inspired music.
And where do you meet?
The First Congregational Church in Albany,
Okay.
which is on Quail Street.
Okay.
And we rehearse Monday nights, usually 7 to 9. And we hope to be back in person. Our first night will be Monday, August 23rd. And if things, we're going to respect the COVID protocols at the time, so we might take some time and spread out a little bit during rehearsal and make people feel very comfortable with coming back. So we're very excited to be doing that and to be making live music again.
Yeah.
And then we always have Zoom as our backup if things go bad.
Yeah, if they go south again,
Sure.
let's hope they don't, but
Let's
let's
hope they
all
don't.
get vaccinated and stay healthy. I mean, that's the important thing. Now,
Absolutely.
after your name, they had ACP. What's an ACP? I mean,
Well,
for
I
me,
was-
it's the Albany College of Pharmacy, because that's where I graduated from, but that's not it.
No, and they have much better medications than we do. But APC is our artistic planning committee.
Okay.
So sometimes the music, in some groups, the music director takes the lead and chooses all the music. But we have a little bit of a democratic process, which frees people up to go looking for the 4 corners of the world to find new and unusual and different arrangements.
Oh,
And then
really? So
everyone
you
votes
don't
for
just
that
play
thing.
the common songs, or?
We do play the common songs, but we're.
I don't know, is that the right word, common
Yeah,
song?
look
That
for-
sounds kind of,
Popular maybe?
Yeah, popular, right?
Yeah.
What was
But
I
we're looking
thinking?
for the right arrangements that are gonna fit our vocal
Okay.
structure and will play well with us,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Let's bring you in, Derek.
Hi.
Yeah, so what are you up to? Are you the guru? Is that, I heard that you're the genius.
I manage a lot of our technical needs, so in terms of social media, posting our videos. During the past year, because we did virtual concerts, that meant gathering everyone's individual recording and making our virtual.
And you did all
recordings.
that?
So doing all that, and it's not just me, it's a collaborative process between myself, between
Wow.
Keith from the APC, our musical director, our accompanist, in terms of having a kind of a draft and then shaping it into different things, maybe adding some special effects here and there, and that type of thing.
So you're a very
I really
creative
enjoy it.
guy, aren't you?
I try. I'm not as creative as the artistic planning committee folks are, but so I
So do
kinda
you
what I
sing,
can.
or are you just
I
behind
do.
the scenes?
I sing also. I'm a baritone.
You're a baritone. See, he knew what it was. I wouldn't. But anyway, so you do sing with the group, but you do like doing that technical stuff. Isn't it creative? It's just so.
It's good, and we've come such a long way in terms of, especially during the past year, because it was a lot of technology and getting more comfortable with the technology, getting comfortable with using Zoom, getting comfortable listening to yourself sing. So because we're using Zoom, you're kind of recording it, you're kind of practicing in a vacuum, so you can't, everyone has to mute themselves because things will be all out of sync. When it comes to the virtual performances, you record yourself singing your own part, and you have to listen to yourself.
So are you a mixer? So do you
Exactly.
mix those voices?
Exactly. So we mix all the vocals together.
Get
So
out.
His recording, her recording,
Yeah.
and to make it sound as if we were all standing in the same room together.
That's why. I
How
think
did you
he's a
find him?
genius.
He is a jewel. Don't let him go.
Well, but he does other things for us too, like opening, when we have everybody there for our opening night, he's kind of our games guru too. He comes up
I
with
like
a
making
game
the
that
icebreakers.
is a lot of fun that we
So
get
you
to
need
do
to get
know
with
one
Michael
another.
Burns in the improv there, I think. I think you got part of that in you, right? So you have a bit of a camaraderie.
We do,
Yeah.
we
And
do.
we miss each other, we miss singing
I
together.
bet you did.
We've not been in the same room since March 2020.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I attended a rehearsal for a group, and they had not been together in over a year. Their vocals, the singing, and it was like so they're going to have this rehearsal, and the first they got an hour set aside, and the first 40 minutes was, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you," and I was watching. I'm going, I guess they really like each other.
I think that's every Monday night for us, the first 10 minutes.
Right.
We typically come early to rehearsal so we can have some kind of social time before we get down to business at 7 o'clock.
So what else, do you do anything else? I mean, granted, you sing together, which is enough, but do you do anything, do you do picnics and stuff to kind of socialize, or just, no, we're just going to get together and sing?
No, we do picnics, we do
Potlucks.
fundraisers because we are a nonprofit, so we'll do potlucks, we do.
You're a 501c3?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we do
We've had yard,
improv, our own type of, what would you call it, cabaret shows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
we've had yard sales, and you think a yard sale, how's that some sort of social event? It is. We have at someone's house, everyone donates a bunch of stuff, and sometimes we sing for people when they come by, or we play our own music, or we try to sell off the stuff that we have, and whenever we get together, we kind of find a way to kind of have fun with each other.
Yeah, I want to give, I hope you give a shout out to Malcolm Kogat,
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
because
He's-
Malcolm is my associate producer here at the show, and I know he's in the room, so Malcolm, we love you.
We do love him very much. He brings so much to our rehearsals when it comes to,
He's a fabulous musician, too.
he is, and he takes, usually, sometimes when we're learning brand new stuff, we'll break off into groups where the tenors and the basses will go off with him and get a chance to learn music in a much smaller group, because usually there's 35 to 40 of us.
Oh, you have a big group.
We have a big group.
And we had a photo, I think that it was up there. Well, I mean, if it's probably up while I wasn't even looking at the screen, so, but I know
But
Jan
yeah.
usually brings those
And
photos
he's been
up.
behind putting together all of our rehearsal materials for when we aren't together. So putting together, 4 rehearsal tracks per song, one covering every section, and it's a huge undertaking. He's been able to jump right in there and provide that for us.
Yeah, so where do you perform? Let's talk about where you perform and
Oh, my
how you
goodness.
get the word out.
Well, we've been in many places. We've opened for the Boston Gay Men's Chorus.
Okay.
We were recently at the New York State Fair.
Oh. Nice.
We were
In
down
Syracuse? All the
in
way out to Syracuse?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They had a Pride Day.
We had a Pride Day and we went out and performed there, and we've been at Beekman Farms.
Well, we just came off Pride Month, or are we still in Pride Month?
Just came off
Just
Pride
Just
Month
came
in
off. I
June.
thought it was June, yeah.
We've performed at Beekman Farms. We
Performed right here.
Yes.
Right
At
in this
Proctor's,
atrium
yeah.
here at Proctor's.
Absolutely, yeah. So you get out there and perform, and it's must be a joy to perform as a group and just know that you're getting the word out. In a way, you're getting the word out, but you're also getting your voices out in more ways than one, right?
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
And being visible in the community.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm so pleased to see that we have a Pride Month and we're actually, embracing it. So that's really, we're moving forward.
Yes.
It may take a while, but we are moving forward. So you have auditions coming up on the 23rd, I believe.
Yes,
Of
23rd of
August.
August.
August 23rd. Anyone can come.
Anyway,
Anyone can come.
You support, come, right?
right, if you're affirmative, yeah, we have a few singers who are gay and lesbian affirmative and transgender affirmative.
And
They're
some
just-
have
they're
children
allies.
or
They're
either allies,
and
yeah.
they sing with us.
And even if you can't sing, but you want to help out, we have a fifth section. The fifth section people help us with ticket sales.
Oh, there
when
you
you come
go.
to our concerts, they're the people who greet you and get you a program and get you to.
Yeah, because you have to have the
partake in-
workers, right?
Exactly. They help usher people in.
What
and help
do you
with the
wear? Just
fundraising.
curious. Do you have the black and white, or what do you
Well,
do?
it depends on the concert. We
Okay.
switch it up. We have a traditional kind of tie-dye Capital Pride
Sure.
singer shirt that when we're kind of out informally, but depending upon the type of concert we're doing, we can switch it up. We've done black and white. We've done, what other colors
We've
have we
done
done?
Purple.
And we have stoles, we have rainbow colored stoles we can put over a white or a black shirt.
Oh, that would be
So
nice.
Yeah, we have the purple stoles, and yeah. Sometimes we'll do the rainbow t-shirt, the rainbow shirt effect, or one person will wear blue, one person will wear yellow, one person will wear
Oh,
a different
it's
color. It kind of
nice.
varies.
Yeah, it
So-
kind of, you get the whole rainbow, but
Yeah, or we did a- we did a
individually.
fall colors type of deal for once as well. So
Yeah.
we change it up. We try to keep ourselves current. And
Well,
and different.
it just makes things fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
And we
I-
have costume changes too
Yes.
for our concerts where
Okay.
we do different types of props for some of the songs that we sing. We
I
sang
have to
a
get to
song-
one of your concerts. It
Yeah.
sounds like I don't want to miss these.
We did, what do you do with a drunken sailor? one?
Oh,
We
my
all
God, I
had
bet you-
Sailor hats
Yeah.
on and sailor suits.
And somebody was passing the bottle. No, that doesn't work.
Or maybe after the intermission, we'll have a costume change from the first half of the concert to the second half. If you come to some of our cabarets, which sometimes we perform at nightclubs or even churches or stuff like that.
Where do you do it? In churches usually, or
It
where?
depends on the type of, on the venue. Some of our more family-friendly ones are at churches or auditoriums and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But if we're doing multiple songs, even the same performer might have a different outfit for the second song or the third song. Or
Who is your artistic director? Because
Miss Olga Martinez.
Yeah.
Olga, the director,
Yeah.
musical
Almost our
director.
Musical
Yes,
director,
musical.
Yeah.
artistic planning committee, which Keith is the chair of.
We work
He-
closely
he
together.
does all of
There you
that.
go. So
Yeah.
you're the idea man.
One of the idea people. I like to filter in as many different ideas as I can. So, it's a very much a collaborative and working
What
with
fun.
our members.
What fun it
members
is.
have input or ideas. We're more than happy
I
to try to
know.
incorporate what we can. It just makes it for a fuller experience for everyone.
How long have you existed?
Well, we came into existence in 1994 under the Capital Pride Center at the
Okay.
time. And then in 2000, we busted out all on our own, so we are a 501c3 now. There were originally 19 original members. Keith, are you an original member?
I was an original member.
He's
I
an
am
original 19 member.
Okay, good. Are there, and this is kind of an odd question, but are there like national competitions?
There used to be a bigger gay and lesbian choral festival, which.
That's what I wondered.
something
Was
that
there,
we
because it seems
participated
like that would be really fun to
Yeah,
do.
and a big one every 4 years with lots of different groups. But, as times change and resources wax and wane throughout the country, the popularity of those have gotten challenged. And sometimes we don't participate as vigorously as we once did.
Sure. Well, I mean, and things change, and
Yeah.
times change, and fortunately, we're all moving forward, right?
Right.
We are.
Good. That's what I really like to hear that. I want to thank you all for being here. It's just such a pleasure to meet you all, and I've heard about you, and I know that you're out there doing things, and we need to get you back on again. Come back when you get your Christmas together.
Anytime, we'd love to come back. Thank you
Yeah,
so
and then
much.
we'll talk about that and maybe get people to go to the concert. Where's it gonna be when you do your Christmas concert?
We do it in a couple of different venues. We're usually at
You do the same concert in two, oh, okay.
We do it in RPI at the chapel, which
Okay.
has wonderful acoustics. And then we do usually either at the church down in Albany, or we'll do it somewhere here in Schenectady.
Good, well, we
Church
hope that
welcome
you
us.
do come to Schenectady and give us a nice concert of your, and I know that group is wonderful. It
Well,
should
we'll have to
be.
bring them with us next time.
Absolutely, and they're so good, I just love to listen to them, and I have their albums, so it's like, I just love listening to them, so anyway. But thank you all for being here, and I'm just gonna, you don't need to run, but I'm just gonna tell everybody who's coming up next show. We have a show for you next time. Yes, we do. We're gonna start out with an Elvis tribute artist. His name is Kevin Harder, and he is great. And if you love Elvis, you're gonna love his performance because, I mean, I'm assuming that he's gonna perform, and we're gonna talk him into it. If he wasn't planning on it, we're gonna make sure he does do that. Then we're gonna be talking to the Empire State Aerosciences Museum and find out they're starting to open up. Everybody's opening up, right? And they're gonna be opening up and having classes, and they're having their fly-in breakfasts. I think they call them fly-in breakfasts. Then, of course, the big festival coming up on September 11th is going to be the Italian Festival, the Italian Street Festival, which is such a great event. Lots of music and food. Well, I'm Italian, so it's food, you know, and music. That's all we do is eat and sing, I guess. They're
Nothing
just like
wrong
you
with
guys,
that.
just
Nothing
like
wrong
what
with
you
that.
guys are doing. Then the Sand Lake Center for the Arts will be here, and we'll be talking about their Pipeline, which is a play that's coming up. And I wasn't aware of it, but I found out that it's quite a long-running play, so we're going to learn about that. And then we're going to go over to Waterford and learn all about the Waterford Museum and what they're doing and their exhibitions coming up. I do want to thank you all for watching. You're watching Capital Region Today. I'm Ann Pearl, your host. We have a great team that works on the show. And I got to say a big shout out to my volunteers. We are an all-volunteer show. I volunteer as well. But this is the 23rd year, so I don't know. I'm still trying to get it right, I guess. I don't know. Thanks for watching.